Hi, my name is Caleb Briggs, and this is Accents for Actors, a website designed to give actors the tools they need to learn an accent. So, as you may know, last year my project entailed teaching actors accents as well as teaching an exchange student the American dialect. And during that project, I realized that the main challenge I faced was the lack of available resources for learning an accent other than clips of people speaking and esoteric accent guides that cost upwards of $90. And so, seeing this problem, I decided to make a more accessible resource for learning accents. And there were two main challenges in making this project. The first was that I had all these exercises and examples that I had amassed last year, but now had to make an easily digested video to teach an accent. And my goal for these videos was to keep them around 5 minutes long. And my thinking behind this was that very few people have the patience or time to watch me conduct an actual accent lesson, which could last between anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, could even go longer. And the second challenge was finding the time to learn new things so that I could teach them, because despite being a senior, this year seems to have been just as, if not busier than the last. So, as you can see, I really only have two accents as well as a rundown of the International Phonetic Alphabet, or IPA, which is where I would like to start because I find this to be the most fascinating. So you'll find IPA everywhere if you know where to look, particularly in accents and accent guides and dictionaries. But the issue is that we never learn to read it unless we take a special class for it, which is, in my mind, silly because IPA is an incredibly versatile alphabet. And I also find that by making this guide and providing a more in-depth resources to actors, I suddenly make a lot of those indecipherable accent guides you find online or in print more accessible and a little less scary. So in this video, I explain how to read IPA and how to read an IPA chart, which I have on this website that I also have linked in my website, and explain how it's basically arranged from the front of your mouth, the E sound, to the back of your mouth, the all sounds for vowels, front of your mouth, the p sounds, and the sounds in the back of your mouth. And everything in between, and I explain what these words mean, and why they are why they are. And so, like, I do concede that, like any alphabet, you just have to practice it. Otherwise, you are still going to rely on these charts. But this, I think, is a good start to make it a little less daunting and a little less foreign seeming, and something that is actually really helpful in learning an accent or just how to pronounce words in general. And so moving on, I did RP, or Posh, or receipt pronunciation, Cockney, whatever you want to call it. And it's a very basic rundown of the accent, including general rules on consonants and vowels, some commonly mispronounced words, the musicality of the accent, and a few exercises to help beginners get started. I made this video after becoming frustrated with the videos I found online where speakers tended to stray into modern British accents, which is something that is, at present, a bit more rare in theater, and so I think a little less useful than teaching classic RP British. And going on to the other accent, I have Cockney, which focuses a lot more on the placement of the mouth and how different it is from the RP accent. In fact, I use RP as a jumping off point to allow for a much more concise video, so I'm not starting from scratch so much as I am building off of what I teach in the first video. Um, and I've also included this handy little accent sheet, which includes IPA symbols, which I hope that people will be able to read or figure out how to read after watching my IPA guide video. And so that's a very basic rundown of what I've accomplished. And I must say that I had a much grander plan when I first proposed this, because I had hoped to have many more accents and was torn between putting a lot of resources on each page and keeping them simple. And I opted for simplicity, which turned out to be harder because I had to make sure that I covered all my bases in these videos. And the other challenge was simply finding the time to do it. I often found myself frustrated because I did not have much time between school, between work, and between other performing arts activities to spend as much time on this as I would have have liked. But I created this website on my personal email, and so hope to continue expanding this outside of high school. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you ever need help on IPA or on one of these British accents, I know a good place to start.